universities to the artisanal courses, Mr. Speaker. So we need to know what plans do they have to establish a number of students which have increased over time, so that they get to plan for their financial increment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Otoder. Honorable Opuzie. Then I would close with Honorable Apem that round.
Asante sana Bwana Kinara. Yangu tu ni kushukuru CC na timu yake kwa kukuja kujibu maswali ambazo zilikuwa zikiulizwa katika moshoni. Ningependa tu kuuliza, kwa sababu wenzangu wameongea mengi, ningependa tu kuuliza board pamoja na CC ya kwamba kama zile pesa ambazo zilikuwa zimetengiwa watoto 2024-2025 zilipotea. Na sasa kwa hii nani wanajua ya kwamba watoto wengi hawakuenda shule kwa sababu hawakupata hiyo basari. Ikakuaje tena kwa hii allocation ambayo wanajua vizuri ya kwamba watoto wengi hawakuenda shule? Ikasemekana tena ya kwamba ati igauliwe tena. Haje? Nani Bwana Speaker, jinsi wajuavyo ama tujiwavyo katika Turkana County, watu wetu ni wafugaji. Mambo ya insecurity imeweza kuadhiri watu wetu. Wanyama saa hii kwa wakati ya mvua hivi wamekonda. Hakuna vile msasi anaweza uza hata mbuzi peke yake ili kusudi huyu mtoto aende shule. Kwa mambo ya insecurity asua sana sehemu zetu kama ya Rosa County tumekuwa affected sana. Tulikuwa tukitegemea mambo ya mashamba, labda wamama wanaenda kulima mashamba wapate hata hiyo mboga wause. Tulikuwa tunategemea mifugo kama wafugaji. Mtu anaenda anauza mbuzi yake ama ng'ombe. Lakini kwa wakati kama huu ambayo kiangazi ni mingi, mvua imenyesha, wanyama wetu zimechukuliwa na majirani zetu. Je, hii Ministry of Education inatakaje watoto wafanyie watoto namna gani? Kwa hivyo tungependa hawa kama wanapenda kitu naitwa elimu. Kwa sababu elimu ndio maisha ya watu. Bila elimu hakuna maendeleo. Bila elimu hakuna mtu atapata kazi. Ningeomba tu zile pesa zimekuwa allocated siletwe tu safari moja ili kusudi watoto wapate pesa safari moja. Kwa sababu supplementary 2 iko karibu. Tumebakisha tu mwezi moja na kitu. Kwa hivyo Bwana Chairman, muwe na utu. Muwe na utu kabisa. Hata afadhali wale watu wakufe njaa, lakini mambo ya masomo.
Honorable Dorcas, address the chair.
Afadhali hata wasikie Bwana Speaker. Eri hata wasikie kwa sababu wanajua na nyani tu wanajifanya. Kweli Bwana Speaker, mambo ya elimu ni uchungu sana. Saa hii tukikaa hivi Bwana Speaker, kuna ile mambo ilisemekana ya kwamba wale watoto ambao wamerejesa form 4 ati wasifukuzwe kwa mashule. Lakini katika hali hiyo hata kama ministry ilisema saa hii watoto wote wale wa form 4 wamefukuzwa kwa mashule, wako manyumbani, na nyali sisi bado tunafurutana hapa na mambo ya school fees. Je, mnafikiria watoto watafanya mtihani? Wanaweza kufaulu kweli? Watapita? Kama wanaweza kaa tamu mzima bila kwenda darasa? Na nyali pesa ndio hii. Bwana Speaker, kwa hii mambo ya kusema ati 15,000 nani aliamua? Mimi sijaona hiyo ripoti ikiletwa hapa alafu tupitishe. Ya pili, nani alienda kwa kila ward ajue ya kwamba ni watoto wangapi wanasoma kwa kila ward? Kuna mawadi ambayo inasemekana ati wako wachache. Lakini watoto wengi, hakuna mtoto anakaanga nyumbani anachunga mbuzi. Ninasema hivyo kama odi yetu ya 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐄 ward. Hakuna mtoto anachunga mbuzi, watoto wote wako mashule. Ukienda mahali kama Katilu, hakuna watoto wanachunga ng'ombe ama mbuzi. Wanaenda kwa shule. Je, hii 15,000 itatosha wale watoto zaidi ya 3,000 ama 2,000? Na wale watoto wengine ambao watabaki wataenda wapi? Kwa hivyo ni shida sana, asua sana sehemu kama yetu ambayo sahi gold imetoboka. Watu wanaosha gold. Sahi watoto wengi ambao wamerudisha wale form 4s ambayo wamekosa school fees. Wamechukua makaraya, Bwana Speaker. Wameenda gold. Hawa watoto tutawasaidia namna gani? Manyali wanyama sote zimechukuliwa na bandits. Hakuna kulima. Wanyama wamekuwa macheted. Je, tutaelekea wapi? Na ni hali resources yetu ambayo tulipewa wakati ya devolution iko Turkana County. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Speaker, tuangaliange mambo ingine. Mimi naona hapa watu wanacheza na mambo ya elimu. Mambo ya basari ni uchungu zaidi. Hata afadhali unyime watu mahindi. Ama hiyo maragwe ikae. Lakini mambo ya school fees, watoto wapewa pesa waende shule. Tutakuwa na watoto ambao watakuwa wamepata hata mimba kwa hii muda ambayo wamerudi manyumbani. Hao watoto nani atawasaidia, Bwana Speaker? Kwa hivyo wasiri pamoja na board mwende muangalia, mfikiria mambo ya watoto tafadhalini sana. Kwa hivyo kwa haya machache nasema asanteni.
Honorable Apem, as the CC prepares.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want first of all to thank the CEC and his team for appearing before this House to answer questions over the education matter. And I also want to thank the Honorable Majority Leader for always ambushing me on secondments. Each time he raises a concern, he asks me to second. So that one, at some point, brings confusion. And I think he has some confidence in me. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, my concern over what is being discussed is education matter is more emotive, Honorable Speaker. And I think the decision that was made by the board, there was no problem with the decision, but I think there was some consideration that would have been made before you arrive to that decision. Honorable Speaker, the first consideration that they would have made is to ensure they have consulted the chairman of our respective wards, because these are the people who are dealing with issues of students in our respective wards. And even parents complain to them. They face so many challenges in regards to these allocations, Honorable Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, when a decision of this kind is made, it affects mostly the committees in our respective wards. And I think the most important thing that this board would have done is that if they gave a directive that each student will receive 15,000, at least 15,000, they would have ensured that they request the 430 million so that each student, at least a number of students, would be able to receive these funds. Mr. Speaker, if you look at a ward like 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐂, it's being classified in a less populous wards. But if you look at the applicants in that ward, we receive applications of over 2,000 students. If you give each 15,000, it will benefit 460 students. And that means we'll be left with 1,500 students without this bursary. And you know, this is something that has been taken as if it is something that is supposed to be treated as something that is used for politics. But Mr. Speaker, it is something that is supposed to benefit our students. And I think I would advise the board, and I'm sure sometimes back I had spoken to the chairperson of the board, advising him that they should revise the decision that was made before by this honorable house, I think in the first house, on the decision of the less and the more popular wards, so that wards like Kalokol can be classified as more populous, because if you have over 2,000 students, Honorable Speaker, and you are given 6.7 million, even if you give 10,000 to each student, you will have 670 students benefiting. And then you will be left with 1,400 thereabout. And so, Mr. Speaker, the decision by the board, I think it needs to be reviewed. The decision needs to be reviewed so that the committee, the ward committees, can be allowed to allocate funds based on the needs of students. You look at the decision that was made by the ward bursary for my colleague, Honorable Kalimapus. It was made based on the needs of the people, because these are the people who interact with parents and students in our respective wards. You don't face those challenges that those chairmen face, and that is the reason why you would have convened a meeting with those chairmen so that you consider the repercussions of the decision you are going to make. So, Honorable Speaker, I think the board was at some point misguided if at all they had a meeting to deliberate and decide on the amount they decided to allocate. They decided that it should be allocated to each student. Mr. Speaker, I think they need to revise that. And just to inform the House and Honorable Speaker, there is a petition that was brought by the professionals of Kalokol offer the less populous and the more populous wards, so that it can be reviewed. So that one should also be taken into consideration, because I think it is in the desk of the CEC, and it's also in the desk of the board member, and it's also in the desk of the Honorable Speaker. I'm sure you received. And so, because that is something that I've been facing as a pressure on my side, and I decided that they should also write to the relevant institutions so that I can also push on my side. So, Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I support.
Thank you, Honorable Apem. Now, CC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have, I would wish to start with a question that was raised in Swahili. I don't know if I have the permission to respond in Swahili.
Proceed.
Asante, Bwana Kinara. Kuna swali ambalo limezungumziwa kutoka kwa mheshimiwa mteule ya kwamba mbona tunapitisha 15,000. Ya kwanza, ningependa kumhakikishia kwamba yale maneno ambayo ama hoja ambazo amezua zote ni zile ambazo bodi ya elimu ilikaa chini ikaonelea kwamba hoja hizo ambazo umezitaja ni hoja ambazo zina ufaafu zaidi na inafaa ya kwamba iangaziwe, na ndivyo walivyoangalia na wakakuja na shilingi 15,000, kwa sababu walipata kuangalia na kuchanganua jinsi ambavyo katika miaka ya mbeleni kama mwaka wa 2024-25 jinsi ambavyo mwanafunzi aliwahi pewa pesa shilingi 1,000 na mwingine akapewa shilingi 1,500 katika wodi ya Kakuma na wodi ya Letea mtawalia. Kutokana na hoja hizo, bodi ikaamua ya kwamba imefika wakati ambapo kaunti ya Turkana inafaa kuangazia elimu bora, sio bora elimu, ili ambapo elimu katika Turkana iwe kama iwe chanzo kuu cha maendeleo katika kaunti hii. Na kama bodi ambapo ilivyopewa ruksa pamoja na uwezo kutokana na act ambayo ilipitishwa katika bunge hii, bodi ilionelea ni vyema ipeane shilingi 15,000 kwa kila mwanafunzi. Mfano bodi iliangalia kaunti zingine ambazo zinapata hela chini ya jinsi ambavyo Turkana inapata. Mojawapo unaangalia kama Homa Bay County, kama West Pokot, na nyingine ambazo zinapeana zaidi ya shilingi 30,000 kwa mwanafunzi mmoja. Na sisi hapa Turkana tunaenda kiwango ambapo tunapeana hata chini ya shilingi 5,000. Na mfano tumetoa. Kwa hivyo hii kwa sababu ya kuangalia elimu bora. Hata saizi tukisema tutatoa pesa hizi, mheshimiwa mteule kupitia bwana Kinara, tukisema tutatoa pesa hizi na tuongeze na tuseme kila mtu ambaye ameitisha msaada ya pesa hizi atapewa, mwishowe bado kutakuwa na shida. Sio wote ambao watapata. Lakini tukisema tunapatia mwanafunzi mmoja shilingi 15,000 kwenda juu. Hii 15,000 haswa kwa wale wako katika vio au shule ya upili, wale ambao wako katika day school watapata shilingi 15,000 kwa sababu school fees yao kwa mwaka ni shilingi 15,000. Sasa wakilipa hiyo 15,000 itakuwa ni kama tumefanya kwamba masomo ya shule ya upili especially day school imekuwa ile tunasema free, yani imekuwa ya bure, kwa sababu kutakuwa na wanafunzi sasa wataenda shule, hakuna kufukuzwa kwa sababu ya hela au kwa sababu ya karo ya shule. Hiyo itaongeza umaarufu ama itaongeza quality ya shule ya education ama ya masomo katika kaunti hii ya Turkana. Na sisi kama washikadau, nyinyi mkiwepo kama viongozi wetu, nyinyi ni mojawapo ya washikadau ambao mna maana sana katika kuangazia masuala ya elimu. Na katika kuangazia masuala hayo, bwana Kinara, ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumewapea wanafunzi hawa hela za kutosha katika masomo yao. Ambapo ulikuwa umeuliza kuhusu nani alipitisha shilingi 15,000, hiyo ni kazi ya bodi ambayo assembly yetu ama bunge letu la county lilipitisha, ilikawapa kazi hiyo kulingana na katiba iliyowekezwa. Kisha jambo la mwisho kulingana na swali hilo, kuna maneno ama let me respond that with honorable from Kalokol's concern concerning the populous and non-populous wards. I have mentioned here, Honorable Speaker, times without number, that the decision on which ward gets what, it starts with the assembly, because the issue of most populous wards and less populous wards was approved at the assembly. And the assembly, it is the prerogative of the assembly to decide on its approval which ward is populous, which ward is less populous. Ours, as the ministry, or rather the board, does the implementation bit. So we are calling upon, this is the third time I'm saying it, Honorable Speaker, that the board calls upon the Honorable House to revise, because there is truly need to revise what populous and less populous wards is all about. So the board is ready to initiate the process, and we call upon the Honorable House to pass that. I also mentioned that the 430 million cannot be borrowed or cannot, it has already been committed, because the first phase, the 215, has already been processed, and we have already processed the second phase, which is another 200 and of course more than that. We have that is 200 million. Therefore, for that, we have already processed, it is past the requisition stage, and any time the money would have arrived. We have taken note that if it is possible, we can still do the entire 430 in the subsequent years, the 430 once, so that we distribute to our people. But looking at how we operationalize it, Honorable Speaker, we still are doing the same thing. Only that we are doing phase 1 and phase 2. The people, or rather the beneficiaries of phase 1, will not get the phase 2, not necessarily get the phase 2, because phase 2 will have to firstly look at those that did not benefit in the first phase. So we are more or less speaking of the same thing, whether to do the 430 once and the 215.
Allow her to finish. Just give your question.
Thank you for your protection, Mr. Speaker, sir. And for 215 for phase 1 and 215 for phase 2. Another question. Hili liliulizwa kwa lugha ya Kiswahili kwa mwaka wa fedha 24-25 kwamba hamja kuwa na ripoti yoyote ambayo inaonyesha pesa zimekuwa zikienda wapi. Mheshimiwa mteule aliuliza pesa zilienda wapi. Na tungependa kujibu ya kwamba kama kuna kaunti ambayo imezingatia ufasaha na utendeti katika kazi hii ni kaunti ya Turkana na bodi hii, kwa sababu ukiangalia miaka 2 iliyopita ya fedha tumefanya kazi yetu na tukapata ile wachanganuzi wanaita clean audit report, na katika kuripoti kwetu huwa tunahakikisha ya kwamba tumefikisha katika katika assembly. Kwa hivyo, Honorable Speaker, we have 2 consecutive clean audit report, and we have always availed to this house. So maybe the honorable member can take time to look at the report. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there's the question that keeps repeating on the students applying in numerous wards. And all this is one of the reasons, or rather this is one of the issues that informed the decision for the board to come up with the minimum, not a flat rate, of 15,000 per student per year. And this, Honorable Speaker, is because one of the reasons is when the students apply in various wards, this is informed by the little they get, and we've given examples and evidences where our Turkana children get less than 5,000, 2,000, and that one alone makes a student try their luck to get. Sometimes they can even apply in 3 wards. All this is because of the inadequacy of funds. To address that, they decided that they can at least try their luck in different wards. But if we address this matter, according to the board, if we address this matter by giving the 15,000 per student, each student would comfortably, especially for the secondary school and partly the university and other tertiary institutions, they will comfortably go to school, they will comfortably apply in 1 ward. Honorable Speaker, on the superiority of the board, remember, Honorable Speaker, when I was giving my responses, firstly, I mentioned that the board is open to reviews. We are ready, the board is ready to listen to the stakeholders, to those who matter on matters of education, because the board means well, the executive means well, and I know even the house means very well for the Turkana child. We are all here for the interest of that Turkana school-going child, both at secondary and at the university and other tertiary institutions. So when we discuss about these issues, we are open. It is not cast on a stone. Only that the board has to sit down and deliberate and look at the matters as have been raised by the stakeholders and all of us to see how best it can be adjusted to fit into what will comfortably address what the provisions of this act. Honorable Speaker, as to whether the board is superior, I think maybe how I wish we shouldn't be questioning so much of which one is superior between the board and the committee. Because when you look at section 11 on disbursement, Honorable Speaker, it clearly tells, and I even said it in the first instance, that even when you look at section 11, it discusses on how the board is more superior than the committee, because the prerogative of whether to approve or not sits with the board. And also, when you look, besides the disbursement bit that shows the superiority of the board, not to undermine the position of the ward bursary committee, but again, to also say that the act gives the board the superiority that it deserves. And again, when you look at section 33 on the appeals, it talks of any person that is aggrieved by a decision of a committee may appeal to the board within 30 days from the date of such decisions. All this gives the board the upper hand or the prerogative as to whether to, to approve after deliberation, to approve or not. And Honorable Speaker, we also need to make it clear that the board does not undermine the responsibility of our ward education officers. The board does not do that. It gives them their room, and in case of such issues like the ones that we've raised today, it has a right to give a policy direction to the ward education officers at the ward level. Honorable Speaker, we have the question that was raised here that about the 400 million having been approved here. It is important to also note that all the implementation bit is done by the executive, and the county assembly approves the budget. So it is the county assembly, our honorable county assembly, that approved the 400 million. And we wish to thank the county assembly for approving the 430 million. Because we have issues that we need to help more students, to have more beneficiaries, so that we address the issues of educational challenges in Turkana. The board and the ministry calls upon the additional funds of this bursary so that we can cater for more. Even as we cater for more, it does not take away the fact that we are focusing on quality education, because we do not want a child to drop out of school due to issues of school fees. Instead of giving 2,000, then later the child drops out of school because the parent was not able to even pay the remaining amount. Then, Honorable Speaker, the money cannot be assessed, or rather accessed by in the supplementary, in the sense that maybe it is borrowed or it can be tampered with, because it has already been processed, the second phase. So I can assure the honorable members that the monies are safe and it cannot be tampered with, because the process has already started. There is about why the executive did not put the money for the bursary, or rather the bursary funds. We knew that it is the prerogative of the assembly to approve the budget. And again, there is this issue about the circular that came from the COB trying to remove the funds from the county governments, and also there was that court case to that effect that was barring the county government to do that. And even with that, the county government tried to, around 16 county governments tried to work with the national government, and there is a framework that they tried to work, intergovernmental framework that they tried to work together, and it was controlled by the county, the COG that was helping us control it and to redirect it in the manner that Turkana County is one among the counties that was fighting for its people to ensure, among the existing counties, to ensure that its people get the benefit of the the benefit of the bursary funds. And as we did that, we worked with the office of the county attorney, county solicitor being here, and the county attorney. We tried to work with the national ministry because it involved dialogue, it involved understanding each other, and we even signed agreements. We signed agreements, yeah? We even signed agreements if evidences would be needed. The Turkana County really worked hard to ensure, because for us, much as we are leaders, we are also children of this land. We know where the shoe pinches. So that is why we were among the 16 counties that were fighting to ensure that our people get the bursary. We have evidence of discussing with the National Assembly, with the National Ministry in charge of education, and also having it being involved in the intergovernmental partnership agreement, and that's why we have recorded the current disbursement. It is because of the efforts of the county executive to follow up with the institutions in the national government, and also the office of the county attorney, and at the national level, the office of the Attorney General. So we wish to appreciate the fact that our county assembly also approved the 430 million, and also we also wish to appreciate the players in this executive side that ensured that we've been making calls, going to Nairobi to ensure that they have allowed us among the 16 counties to disburse funds for the bursary under the intergovernmental partnership agreement. Honorable Speaker, a member mentioned on the launching of the bursary. I wish to inform the House that we had those plans. We have those plans, actually they are ongoing, so that we were waiting for the process to, the bursary disbursement process to reach the level of the board, so that the board, before the disbursement now, the board can now do the launching. So we have the plans, and we shall inform the House when everything will be ready. But plans are there to do the launch, and we will hereby welcome the House and other stakeholders to come join us as we launch the bursary for this financial year. Excellency, Honorable Speaker, we have evidences of the constituents. You know, Turkana County education bursary gives quite a lot of money compared to what we get even at the NGCDFs. But we have also witnessed that we have we have constituencies giving 15,000 and above. If I'll be allowed to mention, I can mention, but we have constituencies giving 15,000 and above, and we have not heard of complaints whatsoever. And that is, I think, something to be emulated. Mheshimiwa from Kalobeye Ward or Songot, Mheshimiwa Kalobeye Ward talked of the oversight role being vested in the county assembly. Honorable Speaker, that is why when we were starting, I was inviting the honorable members and leaders of our land to look at the act in whole, as a whole, not piecemeal. Because this act was passed or approved for implementation by the county assembly, the honorable member being one of them. So he has approved this document. Us is to implement. And when you look at the powers and functions of the board, the very first one that talks of oversight body in effective management of the fund. This shows that it is not the kind of, much as the role of honorable member is also to play oversight, it has also approved that the board does the oversight as far as management of the funds are concerned. In that instance, maybe because we said the board is open to reviews, maybe if he is quite uncomfortable with the oversight bit or role of the bursary board, maybe as we review this act, it is something maybe that can be looked at, and as it is approved by the board, we will always be comfortable implementing it the way the board, the assembly approves. But for now, it is part of what has been approved, that it plays an oversight body in effective management of the fund. So we are sorry if we have. It looks like we have overstepped, but what the board is doing is what is within the confines of the law as approved by the assembly. Firstly, I wish to laud Honorable Kalima of Nakalale ward, because it is from his ward that we've cited a good example where we have a student getting more than 80,000, around 86,000 Kenya shillings for bursary. And whereas we are cognizant of the fact that we have many beneficiaries, or rather many interested applicants who need this money, he has gone further to explain the modalities they used and to come up with that such amount, looking at the rare skills and all that. So we wish to allow that, and also to also take cognizant of the fact that it is indeed true that Nakalale ward has an influx of business people and all that, so the population goes high each and every time. So it is also prudent for us as the board, it is prudent for the board and of course the House to ensure that the modalities on revising the popularity and less popularity of the wards have been hastened, so that at least it can take care of issues of Nakalale ward and any other ward that might not have mentioned. And I think that one goes to respond to Kalokol ward, because when we talk of populous and non-populous, it is not the doing of the executive. It is we are ready to implement. We just need your direction. And the last time we were directed upon your approval, Chair, it was in the second assembly. So we wish now that it gets revised. So we are very ready to implement. You just pass it for us as an assembly, as an assembly, and as the executive, we are very ready to implement. Now to section 19.2 talks 19.2F. Yeah. On the power of the board to come up with the policy direction. When you look at section 19, talking of powers and functions of the board, 19.2F, talking about review allocations to ensure support offered is adequate and sufficient. Adequate and sufficient. Chair, if I may read in whole, the powers and functions of the board shall have such powers necessary to perform its function. Number 2, the board shall review allocations to ensure support offered is adequate and sufficient. That is what informed the policy direction that the board gave to the ward committees based on that. Also, as we work on the issue of populous and less populous wards, it is important to note that the categorization, even as we work on that issue, will be informed by the statistics of the previous applications. We've always asked for the long lists. We've asked for the long lists from the ward education committees, and even as we process for onward discussion in this honorable house, we will already have what informs, because the statistics never lie. So Honorable Speaker, so as I finish, I wish to emphasize that, one, the board or the executive is really open to reviews. Whatever they said, it is not cast on a stone. Then something that Honorable 𝐂𝐒𝐑𝐂𝐇 Ward said, if we indeed say before the board makes that decision, it has to again to come to the assembly for that decision to be made. Maybe if we talk, it will look more of micromanaging and playing the implementation part instead of.
Yep. Continue. There is power. Why is yours not? Yep.
Merudi. Battery, I think. Okay. Honorable Speaker, sorry for that. What was directed was a policy. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you, CC. Now we are going for round 3, and FM had a follow-up question. I saw you working and sitting. FM?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have a concern over the less populous and the more populous issue. We had requested the CCM and his team to go and do that review because they have the statistics. And I don't know the reason why she still refers it to the county assembly, because it's supposed to be brought from his side, because you have the statistics from our respective wards. So the decision for less populous and more populous should be informed by the statistics. Who has the statistics here? It is you. It's supposed to come from you so that we can be able to discuss in this house and approve and decide whether this is less popular and this is more popular based on the statistics you have. Thank you.
Information, Honorable Speaker.
Point of information. Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Samad?
Honorable Speaker, I realize that this house does not have members of the minority coalition. And it is something worrying a lot. Because the only ones who are here are the ones whose names have been attached to negative things about the report. I think, Honorable Speaker, you need to take care of this, because you saw in the morning that those ones who are missing here are the ones who are actually working and campaigning and agitating for the executive. And this is a trend that is emerging, and it is so serious. You need to rein in your efforts
your responsibility so that this house appears to be representing the Turkana populace and not a section of some party or some party affiliation and interests. Thank you.
Information, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Moro.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to inform the entire House, together with the CC, that Section 25 of the Turkana County Education Fund Act is very clear, Honorable Speaker, and it is giving the functions of the Ward Bursary Committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that section says that the committee shall be responsible for, and you see, Honorable Speaker, the term shall is a must in law, and we have the solicitor seated next to the County Executive Committee member. Receive, review, and approve applications for education bursary under this act. B, determine the amount of bursary to be awarded to each approved applicant. Mr. Speaker, we don't have a debate. We don't have even a discussion. The issue is very clear. It is the Ward Bursary Committee that is supposed to determine the amount of money that is supposed to be awarded. And Mr. Speaker, finally, your communication earlier in this House must be respected. You gave a communication that you nullified, this House nullified that circular. And it was very, very open. It was circulated everywhere that that circular is null and void. So, Honorable Speaker, let's not waste our time. You communicated earlier, the same communication should go, and students should get the bursary as per the ward appraisal committees. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Speaker.
I now want those that have not spoken. Some have broken the rules. Honorable Namesek.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to contribute my contributions towards this motion of today. Just saying that the CC for Education, Sport and Special Protection, I would have to say that actually we don't have any problem with the allocations of 15,000 per student according to the bursary committee. But our worry here is that we have got high population of the students that needs this kind of support. Because if you see, like my ward, Lexon Ward, we have got a very high population of students that they need support of bursaries. As like for last distribution of NGCF allocation that was done in last month, you find that the category allocation students were not included in the bursary. And right now, when it comes now to the bursary of the county, you find these children, they missed NGSF, and now they come here back to the bursary of our allocation, they miss. What do you think? You know, I get a lot of calls from parents asking me why. Last time, again, they missed for CDF. This round now, they are missing for the bursary of the county. Where are we going? Are we not supporters? Are we not fighters? So these questions comes to us and brings to us a headache. That's why now we have to come back to you, the ministry and the board. Why should you not give the chance to the bursary committee, ward bursary committee, to make a decision that they can, even these children, all of them, they get this money so they can go back to school. Because they will remain back at home. They have missed the first one, they have missed the second one, the numbers are increasing. So, you know, those things, that's why we are trying to say that if it's that way, then why don't you release the other phase 2 money so that at least all these children, they can get money, they go back to school, instead maybe remaining to stay at home. This is the reason why we are saying that. Then secondly, you know, the children, they are training. Here in Turkana, we are lacking some technical people for our personnel, like teachers, like medical doctors and nurses. And these people, they need a special case of money. Why is it that the board and the bursary board can make allocation of this money? Because we cannot just put equal rates to these students. They're going for medical school, teaching, so they need the amount to be raised up. At least they can get and perform very well, and so that they can come and help our county. Then the issue, other things that I don't know. Is there any way the Minister of Education, Sport and Special Protection, so that they can come together with the NGSF, so that these two bursaries, the CDF and the county bursary, so that we can produce some list. You know, if this child he has benefited from NGCF and is can also benefit from the bursary of the county, then the one child can benefit more than the other that have not received. Can you get this list so that this committee, this ward committee, can share this name so that they can try to reduce the money for that child that has received the NGCF money, so that for this one also to get an equal money? Is there a possible way? Just a question I'm asking. Is there a possible way you as a ministry, you can get the list of NGCF? And even there are some children that are being paid by a Elim Sacco. There are some children that are being paid by the faith-based organizations, like maybe like in our place we have got the MSPA, Mission Community of St. Paul, they are paying some children. So that at least we know the children that have been paid somewhere, the remaining one, then we see if you can pay them their full fee that they will, maybe the board has decided. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Continue. What information?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to do a clarity in this house, Mr. Speaker, Kakuma ward is in the spotlight of the discussion of the debate in this house, Mr. Speaker, and I want to do a clarity on it. After consulting with the chairperson to the committee of bursary in Kakuma ward, it's now clear that the 1,000 that was allocated to an applicant in Kakuma ward, it's a result of a certificate that was retained in the school, and that is what exactly was in the applicant application. And in the wisdom of the committee, they decided to give this 1,000 based on the vulnerability of that particular student to acquire a certificate from school that was retained. Another information, Mr. Speaker, is there is a disconnect here of information between the board and the committee. We have a well-backed solicitor in this house, and I may want to ask him to guide well, because this issue we are discussing is a hot potato, controversial and consequential. We have seen that the two policies gives the mandate to the committee as well as the board. We want to get more clarity and more specifically being brought to this house, these policies, so that we can really amend for future betterment going forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jacinta, but I want to remind Honorable Morning, we have no policies here. We have the Act and regulation. So far, no policy is with us. Honorable Jacinta.
Asante sana Chair kunipa nafasi kuchangia machache. Mheshimiwa Spika, yangu haitakuwa mingi sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunapoongea mambo ya elimu. Elimu saa hii ndio msingi ambayo inasaidia Waturkana. Mheshimiwa Spika, devolution tuliletewa kwa county yetu. Kila mtu alipewa devolution. Sio wakati ile ambayo pesa zilikuwa Rift Valley na Nakuru. Pesa tuko naye, tumeletewa yetu. Sisi wenyewe ndio tunagawa pesa zetu za elimu. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni ajabu. Kumbuka saa hizi watoto wale wanasemekana form 4 wako manyumbani. Hii ni wakati wa ambayo form 4 wanatakana wao kwa shule. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi naishi kijiji kingine karibu na Selina, Locham. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi huwa natokanga na hapo nje mpaka masaa 3 za usiku. Mheshimiwa Spika, unaona mtoto ambaye ni mwanafunzi akitembea hapo kwa pombe, ukimuuliza bana hujaenda shule, nasema pesa. Pesa siko Turkana, imeletwa ya CDF na iko ya county. Mheshimiwa Spika, ninashangaa pesa ya ambayo ni basari, ambayo hiyo ndio pesa ambayo ni yetu, ambayo tumeletewa, ambao wanafunzi natakana wasome. Inakuwa iko na changamoto mingi sana kwa sijui ni nini, kwa sababu wale watu wamepewa mamlaka. Assembly akimaliza budget inaenda kwa executive ambayo natakana implement. Na ni Waturkana, sio kabila nyingine ambayo tunatakana tulie tuseme huyu ni Mkikuyu anaweza jua wiko na shamba mahali fulani. Ni Waturkana ile ambayo wanajua changamoto ambayo tuko nayo. Sisi Waturkana tulikuwa nyuma, Mheshimiwa Spika. Ni watu ambayo ni watu wa pastoralist. Mheshimiwa Spika, hii ni wakati ambayo natakana sisi tuamuke, tusome, tukutane na kabila zingine kwa PhD ama tuende hata mbele huko. Kwa sababu ukiona mtoto Mturkana, Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha nikupatie example, Mheshimiwa Spika. Wakati tulikuwa lockdown primary, ukiona mtoto ya Kwatela anakuja huko, alikuwa anashinda sisi na mtia kwa hesabu. Sababu anajua kuhesabu mbuzi one by one. Lakini unapata sisi wenye ambao tuko kwa town, hao walikuwa wanatushinda. Ni kwa sababu gani? Hao kabila nyingine watatoka. Kuna wakati hata ilikuwa imedebatiwa kwa bunge la national government ambayo wale ambao wako hapa ambayo sio Turkana, wale wanataka kurudi makwao. Na sisi wengine hao watu wakitoka hapa ama kwa udaktari ama kwa walimu, tutabaki na kina nani? Tusipokuwa na hii pesa tuweke manane hao watoto wetu wasome. Natakana wakati mwingine tupatikane ya kwamba Waturkana karibu 50 wako na PhD. Tunaenda kupiga makofi kwa sababu sisi miaka yetu haijakubali sisi kwenda kwa hizo ma PhD, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo tunataka ya executive, Mheshimiwa Spika. Mtoto ambaye ni msichana, watoto wamejaa. Unaona mtoto mdogo anabeba mtoto kwa sababu anakosa pesa kwenda shule. Mheshimiwa Spika, lingine ni hii. Board ambayo iko kwa nini? Hii nasikia nani Moringo ile ndio chairman ya, sijui ni chairman ama ni member. Moringo ile, Mheshimiwa Spika, alikuwa kwa Child Fund. Na Child Fund ilikuwa inahudumia mambo ya watoto. Kwa sababu yeye ndiye alikuwa anasunguka. Kwa nini mambo inasunguka hivi na mambo mnajua changamoto ambayo tuko nayo Waturkana? Saa hii, Mheshimiwa Spika, watu hawana mfugo ile ambayo walikuwa wanatakana wause. Saa hizi mashamba hawana Waturkana, baada hatujapata mashamba ambayo tunaweza panda na tuende tuuse vitu. Hizi pesa saa hii tuko tumeletewa kwa county. Ndio saa hii akili yetu yote iko, Mheshimiwa Spika. Unaona mtoto unapeleka shule unaambiwa saa hii ukipeleka kwa shule nani ataenda kulipa? Si tunajua tuna pesa ambayo devolution imetuletea. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hivyo nini watu education, tafadhaleni. Tafadhaleni, elimu ndio msingi ya mtoto Mturkana. Saa hizi vile tunaongea hivi, tusituleti sisi down. Tunaweza kusema wakati mwingine mtaandika hapa mna application ambayo wanataka mwalimu ama daktari. Mheshimiwa Spika, utapata mwalimu nini, daktari ile ambayo pengine ya mfupa, unapata yetu haijamaliza, imekuwa ile Mluya ndiye amemaliza, Mkikuyu, Mjaluo. Na inafika mahali ukipelekwa nje huko ajui Kiturkana. Itapitana ndani mgonjwa hata hawezi jua ni kitu gani amesema. Tunataka watoto wetu tafadhali wasome. Kama kuna wale lawyers wapatiwe pesa waende wasome. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, nikimaliza, hao walifanya mlienda kufanya hesabu gani mjue that odds ni watoto wangapi, natakana walipiwa watoto ngapi watabaki kwa hiyo 430? Mlijua wangapi kwa hiyo 430? Ni wangapi ambayo, Mheshimiwa Spika, walibaki mashanani? Kwa sababu watoto mnatoa. Kwa sababu kuna wakati ile pesa ambayo ilisemekana special needs ilikuwa inagauliwa hapo stegira masanduku. Mheshimiwa Spika, tulipata wale watoto ambaye hawatu wajiwezi walibaki nje. Tulipata ni watoto wa watu wa prison. Mimi mwenyewe nilishuhudia mpaka nimeenda nikapokonya mwingine sanduku na mattress, nikamwambia babake, tafadhali umsaidie huyu ambaye hajiwezi. Akanipatia sanduku na mattress. Kriteria gani walitumia? Kwa sababu MCS ndio wanajua kila mtoto wa wodi ambayo anatakana asaidike na ule hata saidika. Kwa sababu pengine babake ni polisi, mamake ni MCA, anatakana asisaidie awe plan B. Plan A iwe mtoto ambaye mzazi hasaidiki. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna vitu zingine tunacheza tu, lakini wazazi watakuja kufunika sisi siku moja. Hii ni mambo ambayo najua sisi tunapigania na watu executive, MCA, MP, wapi. Sasa unajua hii ni wakati sasa nyinyi elected, wachana na sisi nominated. Nyinyi sasa ndio mko kwa changamoto, mnawekwa kwa toss, sio sisi. Kwa hiyo ndio.
Thank you, Honorable Jacinta. And I will now allow the CEC to respond, and as we conclude.
Baadhi ya maswali ambayo yamezungumziwa mengi nimeyarudia, na labda niseme tu pia kwa mara ya mwisho kwa njia ya heshima na taadhima ya kwamba mambo ambayo mheshimiwa mteule amezungumzia ni hayo maneno ama hoja hizo ndizo ambazo zilifanya bodi ikakaa chini ikaangazia shida ambazo mtoto Mturkana anapitia. Mojawapo ni hizi ambazo mheshimiwa mteule ametaja kwamba kuna watoto ambao wadogo wanafukuzwa shule, inabidi wakae vijijini, wengine haswa wasichana wanaenda pia mpaka wanapata labda wanapata ujauzito kwa sababu ya kuwa vijijini, wengine labda wanaingia katika bodaboda. Lakini sasa tukaangalia kama bodi ikaangalia kwamba hizi shida ambazo Waturkana wanapitia, na zaidi hata sio hiyo peke yake, ni njia gani tutafanya kama bodi kuhakikisha kwamba Waturkana wanaenda shule hawafukuzwi, Waturkana wanasoma bila kufukuzwa kwa sababu ya hela za shule au karo za shule, kuliko kupatia mtoto Mturkana shilingi 1,000 ama 1,500 ama pesa chini ya shilingi 5,000, na labda mzazi hana uwezo wa kuongeza fedha hizo, kwa sababu tunajua kuna wakati ambapo mtoto ameenda shule na bado amerudishwa nyumbani kwa sababu ndio hajajaza ama hajafikisha shilingi 15,000 ya mwaka, kwa sababu mzazi ama CDF ama basari imelipa tu shilingi 2,000 ama shilingi 4,000, bado atafukuzwa nyumbani. Tukaonelea si ni afadhali ya kwamba tulipe hiyo 15,000 mara moja kwa mwaka, ili huyu mtoto hawezi fukuzwa tena, inakaa ni kama anafanyishwa free secondary education. Ataenda asome mwaka mzima pasi na kufukuzwa, hawezi fukuzwa. Sasa ataweka akili yote kwa shule. Hapo ndio tutapata washikadau ama tutapata hata tuseme professionals tofauti ambao wanafanya vizuri, kwa sababu huyu mtoto ameenda shuleni vizuri, amesoma vizuri, ameelewa na anafanya mtihani, hakuna kufukuzwa hapa na pale, mtoto anaweka akili yote kwa masomo. Kwa hivyo kulipia mtoto shilingi 15,000 inashinda vile tutasema tupatie mtoto shilingi 2,000 ama 3,000, alafu tena bado baadaye tena afukuzwe kwa sababu hajajaza shilingi 10,000 ambayo mzazi hangeweza kujaza. Kwa hivyo tunaongea tu kwa mdomo ama kwa kauli moja, kwa sababu wote tunaangalia shida ambazo watoto wa Turkana wanapitia. Honorable Speaker, about what Honorable John Joto has raised, it is indeed something that we've all...
Who is John Joto? Sisi? Who is the John Joto here? I have no member called John Joto.
I stand to be corrected. Thank you for the guidance. Honorable John Namesek. Sorry, I don't know where I got that other one. So, Honorable Speaker, according to what he said, I find it very viable, but it can be constrained with issues of finances. Because all these decisions, we want to have this. Like, for instance, we were thinking, I was even sharing with the board and my county chief officer, that how about having a database, not a database, a management information system. This information system that will help us, instead of handling these things manually, so that we have a system that will help us run this fund. One, while we were discussing about it, we realize that it comes with financial implication. It is not something we just think of it and say, let there be. No, we have to think of it knowing it comes with financial implication. We were even thinking of trying during the public participation if we can see how it can be fixed into the budget for the approval of the county assembly. Because when you have this management information system, or rather, when we have this management information system, it will help us come up with database of all the students in Turkana, the interested applicants. It will trace all the way from the application, in fact, from the advertisement stage to the application, all the way to the disbursement process. It is very efficient and very effective, because it will also help us in a way to consolidate or maybe know the kind of students that benefit from the various stakeholders that support education. Because at the end of the day, it is not only the county that gives this kind of help. We also have some banks here helping us. We have the Office of the Women Representative, 𝐓𝐘𝐑𝐂, helping us very well. We have the NGCDFs doing the same. We have even well-wishers, individuals and organizations that help with the education of a child living in Turkana, both refugees and the locals. So if we can consolidate this information so that we ensure that at least, and if the stakeholders agree to work together, so that when we consolidate this kind of information, have the database, and we are able to automatically, through the system, tell the kind of student that or a beneficiary that has benefited in maybe organization 1, so that it gives a chance to another student to benefit maybe in another organization. Because we also know there is a possibility of more of one student having benefited from different entities, even 2 or 3, and sometimes they get fees even more than when we have only one. We have a student who benefits from one entity, and again, even the money or the funds is little. Having this system will help us. The management information system in education funds, it will help us come up with a way of managing these funds in a very efficient and effective way, and of course, ensuring that we do not duplicate so much these beneficiaries, one getting more and the other one not getting completely or getting less. So when these stakeholders work together, so these are the things when we do the launching, these are some of the things we can be calling upon other entities that support the Turkana child in terms of bursaries, so that we can consolidate our efforts. Our interest is to ensure the Turkana child gets comfortably gets to class and is not chased because of school fees. And finally, Honorable Speaker, I know the matter that we've discussed is quite emotive. It is an issue that needs all of us to objectively look at it and deliberate on it. We want to register that we appreciate the House for calling us here. We also want to appreciate the fact that they are playing their oversight role, and what, as I have always said since I came, that what the board had decided is not truly cast on a stone. It can be adjusted as far as the voices of the stakeholders like you and others is concerned. Therefore, the board is here to be guided, so that as they go sit down to discuss this issue, they also take your issues into consideration. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the CCM for actually struggling to give responses to the issues raised. She has tried her best. You know, the problem is that, Honorable Speaker, when you don't have answers to certain issues, you'll always struggle to provide responses. But that notwithstanding, I think we can appreciate her for the fact she's been able to respond. I think, because we are now concluding, she'll be having a sigh of relief, because I know the seat has been hot. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that notwithstanding, Honorable Speaker, I want to just make a few comments, even as we conclude this matter. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I want to say that what has brought us here is the circular that was released by the chairman of the board, which, according to the sentiments of the honorable members of this House, and as per the reading, my reading of the Act and the regulations, is irregular and illegal, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what has brought us here is a blatant disregard of law, because the board, together with the department, did not read the law, did not read the Act, and did not read the regulation. What has brought us here, Honorable Speaker, is lack of consultation, because the Act is very clear that the CCM education should consult with the CCM finance. The CCM education should consult with the board. The board should consult with the Honorable House. It's very clear, and Honorable Wakili Nabenyo is here. It's unfortunate that, Honorable Speaker, in my opinion, I think they did not even consult the office of the county attorney when they were releasing this particular circular. The office of the county attorney, I think, was not consulted. And that's why the CCM is struggling to provide answers to these queries, because the office of the county attorney has also been ambushed in this matter, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I think in the future, maybe one of the takeaways from this deliberation is that consultation, which is the basis of the Act and the regulation, should be taken seriously, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this circular, we are told, is a policy guideline. And with your guidance and given the sentiments of the honorable members, I want to inform the House that this circular is not a policy guideline. And you'll agree with me, Honorable Speaker, because there is no policy that has come to this House. There is no policy that has been approved by this House to this effect, Honorable Speaker. So the whole idea of this being a policy guideline, it's neither here nor there, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to go on record that the Honorable CCM has misinterpreted the law. She has misinterpreted the Act. She has misinterpreted the regulation. Mr. Speaker, on usurping the powers of the Ward Bursary Committee, the CCM for Education says that she quotes Section 17(2), that the management of the fund shall be vested on the board. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the interpretation, if you go back to the beginning of the Act, you look at the interpretation. Read the interpretation of the word fund. Fund means the Turkana County Education Fund established under Section 5. And Section 5 here says, Section 5.1 says, there is established the Turkana County Education Fund. So it becomes erroneous for the CCM to capitalize on Section 17.2 that the management of the fund shall be vested on the board. It is wrong because that is wholesome or general oversight of the entire fund. Because when you come down, the Act now disaggregates and tells you what the fund is about. But the powers of the board is just on general oversight, not micromanaging the Ward Bursary Committee. And the law is very express, Honorable Speaker, on the function of the Ward Bursary Committee in 25.1, Section 25.1, that the committee shall be responsible for A, receiving, reviewing, and approving applications. So it's the board that receives applications, it's the board that reviews applications, and it is the committee, the committee, the Ward Bursary Committee, it's the one that receives, it's the one that reviews, and it's the one that approves applications, Honorable Speaker. And it is this same Ward Bursary Committee that will determine the amount of bursary to be awarded, not the board. It will determine the amount that will go to every specific beneficiary, Honorable Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at Section 9, Section 9 speaks about Section 9 of the regulations. Mr. Speaker, if you look at that 9.1, the CCM Finance in consultation with the CCM Education will develop regulations for administration and management of the fund. 2, the regulations made under subsection 1 shall provide for the following among other matters. This is very critical, Honorable Speaker. 2G, minimum and maximum allocation of bursary funds. The regulation says the CCM Finance in consultation with the CCM Education will develop these regulations, and these regulations will set the minimum and the maximum allocation for bursary. Mr. Speaker, it goes without saying that this has not been defined in the regulations. The minimum and maximum amounts have not been defined in the regulations. And therefore, if there is need to capture this or to in 5.2, Section 5.2, the purpose of the fund shall be to provide funds for the grant of loans and scholarships to eligible persons. Mr. Speaker, there is that which has been spoken about scholarships and loans. Mr. Speaker, we have 430 million, of which 215 will be disbursed in this phase 1. And we are told 215 again will come in phase 2. Mr. Speaker, the issue has had an issue. There has been a problem in the previous financial year. And Mr. Speaker, we need to be told whether this is going to be implemented, the issue of loans and scholarships burst. So that needs to be clear, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is need for the board to come up with a formula or criteria for disbursement of bursary and have it approved by the House. We need to know what is the basis of allocation of funds towards, when you are talking of populous and less populous, the law that we have says it is based on population, but there are other parameters also. And the law is very clear that the board should come up with a formula. The board should come up with a criteria. I see there's a back and forth. The CCM is drawing the ball. It is not our business to come up with the formula. It's not our business to come up with the criteria. Bring the criteria, bring the formula, and we pass in this house. It is our business only to proposes the question and we respond either aye or nay. That is our business. So please do your part. Mr. Speaker, even as the board looks at the formula and the criteria, there is something called human rights-based approach. And with the human rights-based approach, you consider